Hey everyone, I'm Matt,
I'm Deanna.
and this is Chasing Balance. In today's episode, the topic is the more you have doesn't equal a better life. So this episode is going to explore the idea that success and fulfillment aren't all about accumulating more, whether it's money, possessions, commitments, social validation, or anything like that. Instead, we focus on simplifying life, prioritizing what truly matters, and creating balance in a world that constantly pushes for more and more. So the first thing I want to talk about or bring up is the myth of more. Why we believe more equals better. More money, more status, more possessions. Why do we think that equals better?
That's a really good question. I don't necessarily know the answer to that. I think maybe we're just kind of programmed to want to do more in our life.
You think MTV Cribs messed us up?
Yes, exactly. I blame them.
Yeah.
No, but I don't know. I think we constantly are kind of striving to do better and to be the best version of ourselves. And then somewhere along the line, we kind of correlate with that with
Physical things.
Yeah, physical
money.
things and value. Yeah, over actual things that legitimately matter. And some more so than others. Obviously, there's probably a lot more mentally healthy people out there.
Oh, absolutely. And, speaking on that, and I think about it all the time, like you and I are more financially stable than we have ever been. However, I don't have the best mental health now.
Mm-hmm.
And our parents are gone.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. I often remember when we first started dating 100 million years ago and we were just living in that cheap rundown apartment.
Yep.
And we had a futon as a sofa.
Yep.
And we would eat can of corn and frozen pizzas and we would do our grocery shopping at the dollar store. It was just simple, but we were so happy.
And all four of our parents were alive.
Yep.
My health was spot on, even though I was smoking cigarettes and drinking beer and Mountain Dew for breakfast and all that stuff. I was still healthier.
Lived off of combos and Mountain Dew and P-Funks. So
the more we have right now doesn't necessarily equal a better life. I would go back, to our old house that was smaller.
Yeah.
And have less money.
Yeah.
And have, a lower paying job if if our parents could come back.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no amount of money. There's no amount of physical things that could be I would trade, those experiences with our parents for this object.
Yeah.
Or this
100%.
amount of money. So I think about that all the time. Now moving on to, I know it's really sad. It's sad, but
very dark.
Yeah. So how we can cut out excess to create space for joy. The more, basically, the more shit that you have, the more time you have to spend either affording that, saving up for that, or fixing that.
And then getting
right?
rid of that.
Yeah. And then reselling it on Facebook Marketplace.
Yes.
And I don't think a lot of people think about that. And same thing for me. I mean, I have 2 motorcycles out in the garage right now. And because of some of my, head issues or mental issues that I have, I wasn't able to ride them for a while. And then finally last year, I wanted to take them out. And of course, one, as soon as I turned it on, needed maintenance. It needed a whole new tune up on it.
Well, yeah,
right?
obviously. We knew that was going to happen.
I washed it and everything,
Yes.
ready to go. And
And you
all the
didn't even
engine
turn
lights
it
come on. Yeah. No. And then the next one, I'm like, okay, well, screw it. I'll take out my second one. Right. And the
That's why you got a
battery's
spare.
dead. Yeah. And the battery's dead on it. So like, it's just the more stuff that you collect, the more stuff that you have, the more possessions that you have, you're basically held down more, right?
Mhm.
We have this house, we have these cars, we have all these other things that are tying us down, that if we wanted to say, you know what, screw it, we're going to live on the road. You know
Yeah.
what, screw it, we're going to go move to California or
Yeah.
Arizona or
Mhm.
something. That is just more stuff that we are held on to or handcuffed to.
Yeah.
That we would have to figure out a way to either get rid of it, transport it, or maybe not even be able to go and do this dream of moving across the country or something, or living on the road, because we have these other responsibilities and physical things that we need to take care of.
Yeah. And also, I mean, the kids too. Like,
We can't, I don't think there's a place on Facebook Marketplace for kids.
well, I mean,
There might be, I don't know.
maybe Overstock.
We could probably put on Wayfair. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. Let's not joke about that. The world is terrible. No, but still, like, you have to think about the kids too, right? Like, it would be an adventure for them, 100%.
Yep.
But also, we would be taking away from them from like standardized schooling, which I guess in America that is debatable anyway.
Yeah.
And then also like friendships. You establish those friendships in school and like teams and that kind of stuff. We would be taking that away from them just to have this adventure. And I wouldn't want to minimize that, because it would be amazing. I mean, I would.
But kids are
would've-
resilient, so I
Right.
really don't think that. The more, obviously, when you have kids, it makes things a little bit more difficult, more
Mhm.
tricky. But if we were on board and the kids were on board, would you want to travel and see the country? And they're like, oh, hell yeah. I mean, if we show them like 3 or 4 pictures of,
Mhm.
Niagara Falls, or if we showed them pictures of, Arizona or
Right.
Colorado, I'm sure they would be like, yes, let's do it. Screw
Yeah.
my friends, But you and I would have a lot of planning to do
Mhm.
to get rid of the house, get rid of the cars, get rid of the motorcycles, get rid of everything that we have collected.
Yeah.
To be able to live in this little tin can traveling down the road.
Exactly. And then we would have to make sure that our like work would align with that. And we work remote, but we would have to make sure that while we were traveling, we were hitting spots where we would still be able to work.
Right.
And that in itself would take a lot of planning as well.
Now, how do we declutter our possessions if we wanted to move forward? Not saying move forward just on traveling and, moving across the country, which we don't plan on doing at this point in time, but how do we declutter? Like, how can we make commitments with decluttering our possessions? And I know one that we've done, maybe not as, I don't think we did it last year, but every single year before that, around Thanksgiving time, we donate. Like
Mhm.
we literally have the kids pick 5 things that they would like to donate to charity. And we don't let them take shortcuts and give like one piece of one set to somebody.
Yeah.
We tell them, hey, this is for a child in need that doesn't have much. What would you think that they would love to play with? And we've made them pick 5 things out of their toy bin or their bedrooms or something like that to donate.
Yeah, we've even had like a huge box just sit in our living room for days on end during the holiday season, and then have them fill it up and then return to it a few days later. Like, is there anything else that you want to put in here? We did that one year, and that was pretty successful. By the end of the time, that box was pretty full.
Now I do think, we've gotten a little bit better as far as saying no to the kids, like when they want something, like Braden. The kids have their own money, whether they do chores around the house or it's their birthday or Christmas or something like that. Braden is very spontaneous. Impulsive. Braden is very impulsive, and he wants, when he sees something, say on the item shop in Fortnite, or he wants a new Lego set, he wants it right then and there. Go and get it right away, ASAP. So we actually set up something for him where he has to wait 48 hours. Like, you want that? Cool, man. That looks awesome. In 2 days, if you still want it, we'll go get it for you.
Yeah, that's cut down a lot of his impulsivities, for sure.
And he's forgotten about a couple of them.
Yeah.
It just changes day to day. Every 24 hours, it changes.
Yep.
And even saying no. And once again, this is going to come off like we're being assholes. You guys, there's going to be somebody be like, you guys are telling them to give their toys away right before Christmas. Then you're telling them that they can't buy something with their own money. No, we're trying to teach them, you don't need all of these items. And even, going back to myself, like I tell myself no sometimes. And I think that I work pretty hard. Like Deanna and I just got new cars, right? And the car that I got, I felt bad for getting it because I don't think I need that.
Yeah. But it's a really nice car and you deserve it because we spend a lot of time in our car. There's a lot of back and forth between school and then going up north. And you need to be
but I'm just saying, like, I still felt bad. Like I was telling myself, like, while I'm driving this car away from the dealership, like, no, go give it back. You don't need this.
This is not yours. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I've gotten a lot better too. Because I would, very simplistic version of it, right? Like I would buy a lot of clothes. And now I've gotten to the point where I'm like, if I don't love it, I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
And I would also do like a lot of window shopping. Like I would go around the store for like hours, collect stuff, get to the checkout and be like, nah, I'm good.
You did that when we were dating. You would grab like 5 or 6 things. We'd be standing in line at checkout. And if checkout lasted more than 2 minutes, you're like, you know what? I don't need it. And then we'd walk out. I'm like, what the hell did I just do with my life for the last 30 minutes? What the fuck is going on?
I have a really hard time. I go through like highs and lows where I'll have a really hard time buying stuff for myself. Yeah. And then I'll go like balls to the wall and be like, that was a lot of money, Deanna.
No, see, I think I've changed in a way where, as far as like, I always wanted to have kind of like the brand name on my clothes, right? And then I went to, I don't want brand name on my clothes. I don't want to advertise for them. So then I'll get these clothes. I'm not going to say their name. I'll get these clothes that are expensive but don't have the name on it, right? And then I'm like, why in the hell am I paying that much money for those clothes? And I finally, just recently, it was just like, I'm not getting any more clothes that are $100 for a t-shirt or anything like that. Give me some Hanes and some Reeboks and I'm good, because clothes are clothes. I don't need more expensive shit. Like less is more.
Right. As long as I'm comfortable, I'm good.
Yeah.
As long as I'm comfortable and I feel like I look decent, then I'm good. It doesn't have to be specifically from a certain place, but I will say that I will frequent like certain places because I know that I like their stuff and because I know that it's comfortable.
Right.
Regardless of the price.
You got to start cheap. See if you like it. No. Okay. Then maybe go a step up. You like it. Don't start up high, Deanna. Yeah. I'm talking to you. Let's talk about the social media trap. How comparison fuels the need for more. We talked about this before. Social media and trying to amount to exactly what other people are seeing or doing or acting or how they're portraying themselves on social media. And we see somebody, whether it's an influencer or somebody from high school, and you're thinking like, God damn, he or she really has their life together.
Yeah.
I need to do what they're doing. I need to look like that.
Yeah. I've done that with like a girl that I went to high school with who is freaking ripped and like gorgeous.
Yeah.
And she like works out all the time. And I'm like, I need to do that.
Yeah.
And then I realized that my body does not like that idea. And I can't do like half the stuff that she does. So I think that's like the biggest comparison that I've done. But and
so now we're not just talking about wanting more physical stuff
right.
or money stuff. We're actually talking about body appearance that
right.
we want.
Yeah. And I will say that I think I'm harder on my body in terms of like self-esteem than I am about me just wanting than material stuff.
Right.
I think I think that I
Health.
can, yeah, I think that I can not be, I think that I'm not impulsive in terms of material items. But when it comes to my physical appearance, I will fall into every single one of the traps that I see that says that I can look 20 years younger, feel 20 years younger. You know, if I do this for 30 days, then I will look like this because.
And do you have to buy something to get that?
Sometimes, yeah. But I mean, or I'll look and I'll try to find a version of that, right? Or use like Chat GPT. But I think that I'm harder in that regard than I am with material type of things.
So we need to detox from validation seeking behavior, right?
Yeah.
Like social media is what it is. It is entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
That is it, right?
Yeah.
Most of the people that are on there are not true to themselves.
No. Yeah.
Filters, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, you'll run across like the moms that obviously you follow on Instagram or something that are actually true people.
Yeah.
Right? But they look like they were a mom that day. I mean, they look like they lived a life that day.
Yeah.
Right? They're not all done up with a bunch of filters on them and all that stuff. Like they are giving it to you, the truth and what it is. Social media is entertainment and that's it. And we need to create a healthier relationship with social media and detox from validation seeking.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I've gotten a lot better with reducing the amount of time that I've spent on social media, and that has helped a lot, I think.
I mean, even when I wake up in the morning, I have my coffee, I grab my phone, I go on social media, and I typically follow this doctor with this fitness guy. And he talks about all this stuff that will change your life. And I'm susceptible to it because of the things that are going on inside of my head and my mental well-being. But if I want this stuff, like if I want to go and get this DNA test that I need to see what supplement that I have been missing my entire life and will never need to go and get this test ever done again and know what I'm supplementing just to supplement, which sounds all good, not just taking a multivitamin, but actually supplementing what I need.
Right.
I have to pay $600 or $700 to get this kit
from
this influencer.
Yeah, somebody has your DNA at that point.
Yeah. So it's for entertainment.
Yeah.
It's for them to make money. That's what it is. And we just gotta, kind of unlock, those chains, those handcuffs, and create more of a healthier relationship with social media and realize that the more you have, the more that you want doesn't equal a better life. Yeah.
And I mean, I did that once with this collagen mask. Like there's this huge like craze recently with this collagen.
Is that
mask.
the one that scared the shit out of me when I came to bed?
Yeah, that was the one.
Looked like Slimer from Ghostbusters. And I'm like, wow, what is on your face?
And it like it goes on, like it's slippery and it like stays in place and then it dries completely clear.
It doesn't, it's not clear when you put it on.
Right, no, it's white.
It's scary.
Yeah, and then both the boys came to say goodnight to me and Preston was looking at me and he's like, so what's on your face? And I told him what it was, and he's like, yeah, that's scary, right? I'm like, yeah, I realized that. I think I used it like 3 times, and I didn't really even feel that big of an effect.
Yeah.
And I wasted $50 or something on like a pack or something like that. But it was just like,
I bought that stupid ass green tea stuff that was supposed to roll on your face like a moisturizer and get all the blackheads out. And I put that shit on, and it took me like an hour to get all that stuff off my face, and it never even helped.
Yeah.
So we have made stupid decisions. And I guess sometimes you just need to learn from your stupid decisions, stupid mistakes, stupid purchases, and just break the chains of that relationship that we have with social media right now, that power that it has over us. Now, moving on to the next thing, work, hustle, and burnout. Is the hustle culture really worth it? Now,
no.
You say no.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, in like my 20s, and 30s, I always was like, well, I'm going to start this business, or I'm going to start this social media page, or this type of concept. And there was like 3 or 4 things. Like, obviously when I was like in music and I was promoting, I was making money off of that. And then I kind of went away from that. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to start this. And then it failed. Okay, well, I'm going to start this. And then it failed. And I'm going to start this. And then it failed.
But you kept trying.
But I kept trying.
Yeah.
And then finally I got, my marketing company up there, which is Fresh State Marketing.
Allah.
And it's profitable, right? I have customers. I do a lot of graphic design work for some people. And now I feel like now that I'm 40, I don't have that hustle as much as I do yet. We're doing this podcast. I have a full-time job. I'm a marketing manager at 2 other companies. And I also have Fresh State all at the same time.
Yeah. So you do a lot. You have a full baseball card deck.
the hustle is worth it, but you got to do it when you're younger, and you got to find what clicks when you're younger.
Seriously.
I wouldn't trade it. And even to this day, I'm still looking for more stuff to do. We just talked about it, right?
I was even talking about going back to school.
Yeah.
And changing completely from what I'm doing. But I mean, in my area, I only have 1 job. And it's, it's good. It's there. But I wouldn't want to climb that ladder very far because of what I do and where I'm at and what I've seen. I don't think that I would want to climb that ladder because I know that it would only unearth the mess that I already know is there.
So for the hustle culture, you say no. I say yes. But mine comes with a caveat. It comes with more of, you need to define success. Now, I know most people are going to say, once I turn a profit, that's success. Obviously it is. But I set a goal a couple years ago for Fresh State that I wanted to have at least 1 order, 1 graphic design project or something like that per day. So at the end of the year, I had 365 paying customers, paying orders, paid jobs.
Okay.
Right? So that's how I was measuring success for myself. And I still do it that way to this day. I think that if you're going to hustle, you have to obviously set obtainable goals.
Yeah, realistic.
Realistic goals that aren't taking away from your mental health, taking away from your exercise time or your physical health, and not so much having it revolve around the money that comes in. Because obviously you have to enjoy it, but set a different standard, set a different goal that you want for that company. Whether it's like, I don't know, a customer never returned something for 6 months. I never had a complaint for 6 months. I have a 5-star rating on Google. I have this many Instagram followers for my business. Like, that's what it should be more so, not financially focused all the time.
Yeah. And I would agree with all of that. I guess my snap decision of saying no to is the hustle worth it is, I guess I think that it would be worth it if you love what you're doing and you found what you love and you want to grow into
Right.
at a younger age, or even at, your current age. If you find it and you love it and you're like, yes, this is it, then yeah, go out there and do your thing. But if you aren't in love with it, don't give it your entire life.
You have to balance your ambition with well-being. Meaning you have to be successful mentally.
Yes. And that, I mean, the meetings that I have at work the team that I manage, that's what I continue to tell them. Like, they'll talk about how much they worked overtime and over the weekend and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why are you doing this? And I'll tell them over and over, none of this matters.
Right.
You realize that, right? None of this fucking matters.
No,
this isn't the important stuff that we're doing.
When I started the new position that I'm at, I would work on the weekends. And sometimes I still do here and there, because there's obviously promotions, there's marketing, there's things of that nature.
Yeah, there's stuff that you have to time out.
Right. So, but I did realize that after I brown-nosed the manager for a certain amount of time, it didn't fucking matter.
No.
Then they expect that from you.
Exactly.
Right? So that's where I would leave that part about work, hustle, and burnout, is that you have to balance your ambition with well-being and be successful mentally.
Yeah, you have to be successful by your terms and what your terms are,
Right.
not let it be financially based.
So let's talk about parenting with less. Why kids don't need a packed schedule or endless amounts of toys. Now, I don't think we do good at either of those.
No, we don't.
Our reward system at our house is basically if you have a good week, or if you have a good couple of weeks, or, Max has a really hard time falling asleep at night and staying in his bedroom. So 7 days go by without him getting out of his bedroom at night and staying in there, he gets a new Lego.
Yeah, Lego is a currency in our house.
It is. Yeah, so it's more of a reward system for them. Now, we're not saying that we give them endless toys. Just, look at what we said about Braden, where we make him wait 48 hours to, pick something out, or if he wants to proceed with having that as a purchase of his own.
Mm-hmm.
I think we do try to get across the fact that, they and us as well, but they have a lot more than what other kids have. They are very fortunate for what they have, from clothes to food to toys.
Yeah, they do. And we try to really enforce taking care of what you actually have, and then also using it. We aren't going to go out and buy the latest and greatest when you haven't even played with the last 6 things that you've gotten.
Right. No, that's true. We try raising our kids with gratitude and contentment, being okay with what they have, what we've given them thus far, what they've, afforded on their own. And we really try to preach gratitude. Once again, going back to it, we I don't want to say constantly, but we do remind them, you have a lot. There are a lot of things that, basic necessities that other people and kids don't have.
Yeah, and I think that that's a lot has to do with the age, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel that concept, it lands well with Preston, and he has a clear understanding, and he is grateful, and he'll try to make things let's say he wants something, or he wants to do something. He'll try to figure out how to do it where it's not super cost. He's more cost conscious of things.
Right, and he saves more than the other kids, obviously.
He has a really good saving ethic, saving his money. And whereas Braden, he's younger and I don't think that concept has really grasped in him, but we are doing the same that we did with Preston for him. So I think eventually it'll click.
It will click for him. And we do teach the kids, especially Preston and Braden, financial literacy, as far as like, we don't shy away from telling them how much stuff costs.
Oh no.
And sometimes I kind of am taken back, like, okay, should I have told them that? As far as like, I don't tell them how much we make. I don't say that. Money shouldn't be something that a kid worries about, but we do tell them, how much, vacations cost sometimes. If they ask like, hey, can we go on another vacation? Like, dude, do you know how much it costs to fly a family of 5 across the country? Do you
to that hotel that that we like? Yeah.
We have to stay at. So we do tell them, how finances work out. We do tell them, like, Preston started his own lawn care or landscaping business. Unfortunately, it folded last summer.
Him and his partner.
But we told him, none of that money that you're making from this lawn care business go towards like a new toy for you. That's not what it's for.
Right.
That money needs to reimburse me or your friend's dad for gas, needs to reimburse for maintenance on those lawnmowers that you're using. It needs to go back into, buying business cards or flyers or something that you can give out. So we were teaching them, like we're teaching Preston, that, I'm sure that, maybe your friend's parents are letting him go out and buy the new Jordans with the money that he made. But that's not how you do it in business. You need to understand that you need to save this money and invest it back into the business so you can grow it even more.
But with that being said, you didn't make him actually do it.
What do you mean?
You didn't make him actually give you money for gas, did you?
No, I didn't.
So you taught him the concepts.
I taught him the concept, and there's still an IOU out there for that gas.
But I made him take 50% of his earnings and put it into his savings account.
Yeah.
Where he can't touch it. And then I didn't care what he did with the other 50%. That was, in my mind, that was, his earned money.
No, and that's a good way to look at it. At least a certain percentage of something that they earn, teaching that aspect of being financially accountable and financially aware of what they are doing, and teaching him a valuable lesson about business, that just because you're making money doesn't mean that it needs to be spent on personal things. That is the business money, and that business money goes back to the business to further the growth of it.
Yeah, kind of like the net versus gross.
Right. Now, experiences versus things. Why we remember moments over possessions, and a good an example of that, like anyone that's listening right now, the last vacation you guys took, ask them what their favorite part of it is, and they'll give you an answer. Ask about 2 vacations ago, and they'll remember it. But now, flip the coin and say, hey, tell me 2 presents that you got 2 Christmases ago.
Right.
And I can almost guarantee you that they will struggle to come up with what they actually got.
No, I don't think that they would. I could probably guarantee that they'd remember the people there, what we did, the events that we had, like if we did any games or anything like that. Or, oh yeah, that was the Christmas that we had the really good Chinese dinner.
Yeah.
That was
they'll remember the people that were there.
Yeah.
The people that spent Christmas with them. But more than likely they won't remember what that person or people gave them.
Right.
For Christmas.
Exactly. And that's why we really try to enforce not giving presents like that.
give experiences.
Yeah. Like we are very into giving experiences. And I think that really landed with your brother, where
Right. Yeah.
he created his own currency for each of the boys, and he almost like a golden ticket, like the Willy Wonka
Like it was like
idea.
Preston bucks.
Yeah, it was like Preston bucks or Braden bucks, and he gave them, I think, like 4 or 5, and it was like they could redeem it at any. They had like little caveats on each of the bucks, and it was like an experience where he took them to the movies, or he took them to laser tag or the trampoline park.
Yeah.
And they just spent time together, and I think that has landed so well with our kids because they love that idea and they just love hanging out with them.
Yeah. So it's more important to prioritize travel, family time, and memories instead of shit that is just going to get thrown away, donated, deteriorated, and left for, Sid's backyard.
Exactly. Or like become obsolete.
Yeah.
Like
technology.
Yeah. It's like by the time you buy something new, they're already working on, or they've already released the next version.
Yeah. So we need to build a life rich in experiences. Now, the next part is money and minimalism.
Mm-hmm.
So the difference between wealth and financial peace, meaning being wealthy, I think some people think that as being rich, right? Being a millionaire, billionaire, whatever it is. Having financial peace, meaning that, you have your hustle, you have your 9 to 5 plus your hustle, or you're working on going back to school, you're learning, a new craft to get to that point where you can have that financial peace where you don't have to worry about the finances and little things here and there. To me, I think that is wealthy.
Yes.
Right? Where you can have that family vacation, you can have that family time without destroying, your mental well-being, and without destroying the relationships in your family. That's financial peace.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's almost like having your cake and eating it too, where it's like, you have the best of both worlds. You worked hard to set yourself up for success, and now you're reaping the reward of it.
Yeah. Financial freedom comes from managing less, not earning more.
Mm-hmm.
You can always, you and I have talked about it, like, even when you wanted your raise, right? Even it was well-deserved.
Yeah.
Right? But I told you, I said, if you're not happy,
right,
why are you even shooting for this raise? Because
I'm stubborn as fuck.
This raise is going to be great for like 4 weeks.
Right.
And then you're going to want more.
Yeah.
So it's to the part to where if you find a better job, a better gig, and you have less to manage, less stress to manage at that job, you don't need to earn more, because you will be mentally healthier. And maybe I am privileged in saying this because where we are at in life. So please don't let this come off as me being like, this is what you need to do. I've done it. This is how you can do it. And it's easy. That's not what I'm saying. I understand that there's a certain threshold that someone needs to make and bring in to be at financial peace. However, going for more work, extra hours just for that raise,
right,
is not allowing you to manage less. You're never going to have time to enjoy that extra money that you think is going to come from it.
Right. Yeah.
You're just going to be spending that whole time at work, stressed out, doctor's appointments,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
But I feel like you can take that whole entire concept and copy and paste it to whatever, however works for you
Mm-hmm.
in your life and with your situation.
Right. So to reiterate, financial freedom comes from managing less, not earning more. Managing less, not buying more, not having more. You know, we talked about this with before we were ready to, when our lease ended, and I was telling you what kind of car I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just going back and forth. Like I saw this car that would always drive by, or there'd be a couple different cars that would drive by. It would really catch my eye. I'm like, man, that is the car that I want.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't need that. Like, that's not, that's not for me. That's for me to show off to everybody else. Like,
Right.
I don't need that to feel whole inside, to have that. I don't need to go work extra hours or get more clients or do more projects to buy that car so someone can see me drive it to make them possibly feel like shit.
Right.
Or think that I'm cool. Like, I don't need that. And that's exactly what happened when, I got the other car that I got. But I mean, it, like, I have a really nice car right now. I keep talking about it, but
this was very recent. It's still not landing in your head.
It's very recent, but it's also like, I don't need what I had. And even above that, the other one that I wanted, I definitely didn't need that.
But see, you have a lot of like guilt towards it. Whereas like I had a different approach. I was like, nobody can touch each other. I need a car where nobody touches each other because I don't want to deal with anybody touching each other or bullshit.
Right.
I would also, another part of it was that I needed something where I was comfortable in it and I felt like I was in my own little safe haven.
Right.
Because I spend a lot of time in the car driving, to school and driving to the soccer tournaments and practice and games and And I need to be in something that I'm comfortable in. And it's not for anybody else. It's for me. So
I'm not saying that you did that.
No, I'm saying that your take on it was very guilt driven, where my take was more selfish because it wasn't necessarily like I felt like I needed it or like felt like I deserved it. It was more like, if we can afford this, then that's what I would like.
So talking about affording, we'll move on from my
your guilt,
my new car guilt or dilemma.
We can't take it back. We're stuck with it for 3 years.
Yeah, I've always been that way. Like no matter what, like if even for Fresh State, if I needed a new computer for graphic design and I'm buying it with the company money, that I get to write off at the end of the year, that will make my life easier, more productive, and faster for my customers.
You still won't stop talking about it for months.
Yeah, I still feel like shit for buying myself something new for some reason. And it's that buyer, it's like a buyer's remorse type of thing. And it's not like, oh, it's a piece of shit, I shouldn't have bought it. It's kind of like, I shouldn't have bought that for myself. I should have spent this money on, I don't know, on the house, on you, on the kids, on the stock market, put it in savings, something like that, instead of buying myself a new computer. But we'll move on. So you were talking about as long as we can afford it.
Yeah.
Now, in simple terms, in a simple, quick, and I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, okay.
Way, what tips do you have? Because you do handle our finances.
I do. Yep.
What tips do you have for budgeting, saving, and intentional spending? So
our primary financial platform is that I take both of our income. And then with that, I use the 50-20-30 rule. So that means that 50% of what our income is should go to our essentials. Now that would be home insurance. That would be, or all of the insurances, minus health, because that's already taken out of my pay.
Right.
Then that would also cover taxes, utility bills, mortgage, those types of things.
School for Max.
That's not included.
Oh.
Because that's not.
This is why you run it and I don't.
Well, these are the things that we need. We need in order to keep the boat that we have afloat.
Okay.
So we have a house, right? Well, we need to pay taxes for that house. We need to have water and heat and lights to those houses. Those are all essentials.
Right.
Then 30% of our income goes towards discretionary. Now that's the shit that we actually legitimately don't need.
Okay.
So that's our subscriptions to Spotify, to
YouTube Music,
Netflix.
Yeah.
But then also within there is groceries, because we can minimize that, right? There's gas for our cars. There's preschool, because that's not necessarily like
an all year
essential
round type of thing.
Huh?
Is it because it's not an all year round type of thing?
No, it's not like essential. That's voluntary. Like he doesn't need to go to preschool. I am voluntarily paying for it.
Okay.
So that's just like how my mind works. So then sports are also included into that budget. The dog's food and vet bills are included into that budget.
Mm-hmm.
And then 20% of our income goes towards savings. And then that is divided between what we put towards the kids' savings, towards our internal savings, and then also allocated to the different stock funds that we have. So that's how our budget works.
So 50,
in case everybody wanted to know.
No, I mean,
so
it's good,
50,
especially for...
Yeah, 50, 30, 20 rule is
right.
what I follow.
And this is coming from a mom and dad who have 3 kids, and it's working for us. Not some financial investor out there that's, worth millions and millions and millions and trying to get you to sign up for their seminar.
Yeah.
Right?
And then, also keep this in mind. I do not use any type of financial program.
Like
I don't use
use
Quicken. I don't use, or QuickBooks. I don't use anything I use Excel.
Yeah. And you're getting damn good at it.
I am. I'm teaching myself a lot. Yep. I got some tips and tricks on that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I just budget everything that way. And it was really rough in the beginning. We started that, I think, when Braden was born. But ever since I really got a handle on things and we really stuck to our budget, it has worked out fabulous.
Now, those are our costs that we are publicly showing to you how we save, how we budget, how we use, the money for intentional spending, discretionary, and the, must pays, like the mortgage. Now, let's talk about the hidden costs.
Okay.
The hidden costs of overstimulation and mental clutter. Like, it is so beneficial on your mental health for simplifying decision making for less stress. Mm-hmm. Simplifying what you actually need.
Mm-hmm.
And in my case, maybe it adds a little bit more stress, like bringing back the car. Like, what do I actually need? Like, when I was young, my dad built me a go-kart out of like some 2x4s and some wheels from Hobby Lobby.
That's
or whatever
probably
it was.
why you have such guilt.
That's all I need to get Preston to school. He'll push for a mile. I'll push for a mile. It is what it is. So simplifying decision-making for less stress, getting rid of mental clutter, that's just a huge, huge thing. I mean, look at the motorcycle example I gave you. Like, I'm still, we're coming into the spring season, the summer season, and I never got that shit fixed last year because I waited too long. And now that is mentally on my mind, mm-hmm. that I need to get that fixed, or even if I sell them and get rid of them, I still need to get them fixed, mm-hmm. right? So that is just this clutter that's on my mind that, if I didn't have those, that clutter wouldn't be there. That mental load wouldn't be there. If we didn't have certain things that aren't necessary to our lifestyle, it would be less clutter, less stress.
Yeah. And I really try to do that with like seasons. Like if I don't use something, well, I didn't use this all of last winter, or I didn't use this all of last fall, and it's something that's specific to that season, I'm done with it. And I'm not going to buy something that is equivalent of it.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of, I purge, but I also use that organizational tactic in my head where I categorize things by seasons.
So you've created routines.
Yeah.
About how you would do it. Just kind of like how so there's two examples right there. You created a routine with how you go by seasons. And if you didn't use it that season, or if you don't think you're going to use it the next season, or, whatever, we get rid of it. We declutter, or you declutter. And another routine, simplifying stuff with Braden. We already said that. We have this 48-hour grace period.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just like two routines right there.
And and going to back to the financials, a routine of mine is during winter break, I go through the whole entire year's financial to make sure that I hit those budgets and just set us up for the next year to see what those budgets are.
Yep.
So that when I start that new calendar year, I already have a jump start. I already know what's expected of us, where we need to trim the fat, and set ourselves up to have a successful year.
All of the stuff that we just talked about, right?
Yeah.
The more you have doesn't equal a better life. Okay. That's pretty, you can take that in any way that you want. But what you just said about setting, us up, setting our family up for success, every single thing that we just talked about is going that route, is setting you up for success. If you can declutter, if you can just thrive in your space without a bunch of shit.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get stuck in the social media trap, you know, if you work, you hustle, but you make sure that you don't get burnt out and you still have time for your family and friends, well-being, mental health, physical health. If you figure out how to parent with less, that kids don't need a packed schedule or endless toys, that you focus on experiences and not things. And you don't look at money as what you want as a goal, but minimalism and a better life will create a better mental load, will delete all that mental clutter, and will set you and your family up for success. And that's where we have to see the road to enough. Those are the steps that you have to take towards a life of, I have enough. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's almost like I wrote it. Yeah. So please tell us your thoughts. Let us know, how you're doing with, having a better life with less, living that minimalist lifestyle. And, just take these thoughts, take these things that we're saying. And once again, Deanna and I need to work on this stuff as well. Take this stuff, think about it. What can you get rid of? How much shit do you trip over every day? What, clothes have you worn that you haven't, or clothes that you have that you haven't worn? What is taking up, this rent-free space in your head that's causing you anxiety that you could probably get rid of? Like how I'm talking about, like the motorcycles, like that those can just be gone, and I would never have to think about that again. So that's what we'd love for you to think about. If you want to share your comments, suggestions, if you have tips for budgeting, saving, if you're interested in buying a motorcycle, I'll see you on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. Shit, you might see our kids out there. Just no. I meant like selling them, like we'd put them to work. Yeah. Geez, what were you thinking? So yeah. So feel free to send us a comment. Let us know your tips, tricks, how you're thriving in life with less, and how you're taking away those heavy mental loads. And if you have tips for budgeting, savings, spending, we'd love to hear them. We greatly appreciate you listening.
Chasing balance. Real life parenting, one conversation at a time.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye. Chasing balance. Real life parenting, one conversation at a time.
Sounded drunk.